guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled I Don't Work Here Lady, Disneyland Edition. So, me and my GF took a trip to Disneyland Paris a few years ago as our first holiday together. We were having an awesome time in the parks etc., but one day was incredibly busy, so we decided instead of queuing hours for rides we would do some souvenir shopping instead for a bit. We are in a store in Disneyland browsing various mugs, fridge magnets, plush toys, the general overpriced stuff. When a very sweet English woman asked me if I could help her across the store as I'm a tall guy 6'4". I said yeah, that's fine, I get it at home in supermarkets all the time, so no biggie. Turns out her daughter wanted a specific Winnie the Pooh toy that was at the top of a huge pile of plushest. I gladly grabbed it down for her and gave it to the little girl who was over the moon. This is where things got strange. A young French lady moved over to me chatting in French and gesturing at a shelf with some glasses on it. I speak a tiny bit of French, but not enough to know what she wanted, so I politely told her sorry, I speak English and I'm not an employee. I was wearing jeans and a wine-colored hoodie, which is not even remotely close to Disney cast members' uniforms. The French lady stormed off and I thought that was that. I went and found my GF and we were looking at some gift ideas for our families, when from right behind me I heard a woman say this is him in English but with a French accent. I turned around to see the aforementioned French lady who had dragged an actual employee over to me to give me a scolding. Her accent was very heavy, but she said something along the lines of he helped someone but not me. Workers should be trained better. The actual Disney employee immediately could see I was a guest at the park, apologized and led the woman away. All we could hear from the other side of the store was the French lady shouting and getting very irate. I assume she was removed from the store. Anyway, me and my GF took a couple of Minnie and Mickey Mouse mugs to the register to pay for, and the employee who sorted the situation was on the next register. She said please wait there. She toddled off and came back a couple minutes later with a stuffed Luke Skywalker Mickey Mouse and a stuffed Princess Leia Minnie Mouse for my GF. These are for you as way of an apology, it's not necessary. Was just a misunderstanding, I said, but she insisted, so we got some pretty cool free souvenirs, thanks. Angry French lady. The next story is titled One of my supervisors tried calling me in after I quit. Some years ago I worked at a place that rhymes with McNaldo's. Yeah, no, the place that sells heart attacks as food and advertises it with an ugly clown. Anyway, I worked for them for 6 grueling years. In those 6 years I've got hundreds of stories, but this one stays with me since it was the first one to happen right after I quit. First off, my reason for quitting was that they wouldn't accommodate my one simple request to leave through an alternate exit due to my abusive ex waiting for me in their lobby every day. Every day I came to work in an Uber to avoid walking into him, and every day he'd come in, order something, and sit for hours staring and glaring at me until my shift would end. He would then follow me outside the door and try to harass me while I'd get into an Uber, only to then show up at my apartment to keep threatening me or to break windows. I begged them for a solid month to just let me leave through another door to get a head start to my ride, and every single time I'd get some bullcrap answer and they'd tell me I was overreacting. I basically got sick of constantly wondering which day would be the day he'd come in there with a gun, and I told my supervisor if she wouldn't let me leave through an alternate exit then I'd quit. She laughed in my face. Let's name her Mary. About a week later after I called, left a nice resignation letter to the big boss who totally understood, and after dealing with unemployment, I get this phone call. S. Mary, the supervisor. M. Me. S. So when are you coming in, Crepe Suzette? Because you've been gone about a week and we're short-staffed. I know the other bosses let you do whatever you like, but I'm putting my foot down, girl. You better be here in 45 or you're fired. M. Remember the last time I worked with you? S. Yeah, over a week ago, boo. You can't keep playing these games, girl. This crap isn't cute. Your little boyfriend hasn't been here either, so you can calm down now. M. Yeah, no. I told you that since you couldn't accommodate my one request I would quit. I'm even collecting unemployment already. S. So, are you coming in or not? Because if you're not, I'm writing you up and I'll make sure you never work anywhere again. M. Mary, I don't work for I quit. I quit and I'm literally collecting unemployment as we speak. What don't you understand? S. You have 30 minutes. M. Fine, I'll be there. Obviously I didn't go in, but I did block Mary's number and had the time of my life greeting random coworkers she would send to my house to try and get them to bring me in to work. She was nuts. My coworkers just got a kick out of getting paid to walk 45 minutes to my house and chill. The ex was taken care of legally eventually and I've since moved, but memories of that conversation always remind me of this subreddit. Edit. There are circumstances where you can get unemployment even if you quit your job. Domestic violence is one of them. My workplace became an unsafe environment because my abuser would literally wait for me there, follow me there, or follow me after my shifts to mine or my friends' houses to harass me, or attack my friends. I let management know about it in an attempt to try and make my workplace safer, by asking if I could leave through one of the various back doors we received deliveries through. My head boss said yes, but several supervisors would not let me leave through these doors when she wasn't around and claimed I was overreacting or that my abuse wasn't real. I quit due to working in an unsafe workplace, but I made sure to explain to my head boss and even write in a decent letter of resignation. She understood, and we even agreed she wouldn't try to stop me from getting unemployment. The next story is titled "My Neighbors Take Up 3rd Street Parking Spaces Even Though They Have a 2-Car Driveway and a Garage." My neighbors have enough room to park 3 cars out front of just their house alone, a garage and a 2-car driveway. They are hoarders, so their garage is filled with trash. They have cleaned it out 10+ times just this year and they still can't fit a car in it. They don't use their driveway for anything but more trash and a walkway. They park 2 cars in the front of their house, one which never moves and one that barely moves. They park them just dumb enough so if someone else tries to take the 3rd spot they would be in their driveway. They have 1 car that they use daily, which they decide to park across the street and take up another spot that is not in front of their house. The only time they park in front of their own house is when me or my neighbors beat them and use the parking spot across the street. Between me and my grandma we have 3 cars, hers are both in the driveway and I park where I can. My boyfriend always parks a block away to be nice to our neighbors. I Juicy will never understand why they can't at least park the non-moving car in their driveway. Oh yeah, and they just moved a broken down truck that was parked in their driveway, the side of my house that went over the property line, and would be right outside my window. I didn't mind since it meant they couldn't see into my room as easily. We obviously have issues other than just their ridiculous parking decisions. They finally moved it, to put more trash there. Then I had to always have my blinds closed as my window faces their driveway, house, so they couldn't constantly look into my room, and I wasn't constantly looking at trash outside my window. Needless to say we finally got a fence. Thank God. I can finally open my blinds, have plants in my window, and get natural light daily now. It is so freaking nice. I seriously feel like a happier person since it happened lol. The idiot next door also fought so hard for us not to get the fence because their property goes 3 ducking inches into the dirt on the side of our house. She also only decided to protest the fence after the guy who built it, whom she also knows and is such a nice old man, had done so much work he was about to put the concrete in the ground for the posts. Also, if I'm not mistaken, typically both parties pitch in for a fence that runs down both property lines, but we paid for it all. And they still idioted about it. I guess it's hard to be happy living with 4 grown adults in a tiny 2-bedroom house where there is so much crap and trash that they can't even contain it inside. The next story is titled "Sorry Ma'am, Flight Attendants Aren't Actually Airport Employees." A few days ago I was between flights in the RSW airport grabbing a cup of coffee. I'm in my flight attendant uniform and I get approached every once in a while and I do my best to be polite and help people out since most airport questions are easily answerable. A woman approached me and asked where the smoking area is. I'm not a smoker and I've only been to this airport a few times so I'm not actually sure. Me. A smoking area? I think I saw one over by the Dunkin' Donuts. I'm not sure if there's one on this side. Lady. Way over there? That's the other side of the airport. Are you sure there's not one over here? Mind you, this is fairly small airport, it takes about 5 minutes to get across the entire terminal. Me. I'm sorry ma'am, I've only been here a few times, actually. I work out of Minneapolis so this airport is pretty foreign to me, hee hee. Maybe you should ask one of the gate agents or someone working at the coffee shop. I try a charming laugh. Lady. But I'm asking you now. Why can't you be helpful here? She's getting frustrated with me. Me. Again, I don't actually work here. Us flight attendants don't actually spend a ton of time at the airports we go to. I don't know the layout. My coffee arrives and I ask the barista about smoking areas. Barista. There's a smoking area just over there, you can actually see it from where you're standing, ma'am. It's literally 50 feet away. I hadn't noticed it since I don't smoke. Things like this usually aren't on my radar. Me. Oh, it's right there. Nice. Just for future reference, ma'am, flight attendants aren't actually airport employees, so we're kind of helpless with things like this. Haha. Have a great day, alright? I'm trying to be charming. Lady. HMMPH. Then why did you try to send me all the way to the other side of the ducking planet if it's right there? Whatever. Learn how to do your job, a-hole. She walks to the smoking area in a huff. The barista and I looked at each other in silence for a few seconds before sharing a quick laugh. I swear, I did my best to be helpful even though I didn't actually work there. Even after explaining this, the woman insisted that I worked at the airport. The next story is titled Not Only Do I Not Work Here, but No One Does This Is My Apartment. So basically, I live in a small apartment above a bar that has a really good kitchen. Over time I've become friends with the owners, who are really great people. This past weekend, there was lots of noise coming from the bar at about midnight, so I came to complain. They said they couldn't do much about the noise. It was a crowd watching a game. But if I came in at some point this week, they'd give me dinner for free as an apology. That brings us to yesterday. I'd gotten off work late and didn't feel like cooking, so decided to cash in that aforementioned free dinner. As I'm eating, things start to get really loud and busy again, so I ask for my meal to be put into a to-go container. The owner said I could just take the plate upstairs, as long as I return it later that night or the next day. As I'm leaving, still shoveling fries into my mouth, I notice a woman trying to flag me down from her table. I assumed she was looking at a server behind me, so I took no notice and walk outside, carrying my dinner. I put down the plate to open my door, and while I'm rooting through my pocket I feel a sharp tap on the shoulder. Lady me. Don't just ignore me like that. I ordered almost 40 minutes ago and I've not got my food. This is unacceptable. This can't be true, considering even when it's packed I've never waited longer than 30. Okay? Not quite sure what she wants. What do you mean okay? What are you going to do about it? I want my meal discounted for this. Now realizing what's happened. Oh. I don't work there, you'll need to speak to someone who does about doing that. Turning. Opening door. Don't lie to me. Looks past me, up the stairs. I know you guys are just hiding up there instead of working. I'd like to speak to the owner. Lady, this is my apartment. Please leave me alone, holding door open while I bend over to pick up my meal. Pushes past me and charges up the stairs, screaming as she goes. You guys better get back to work. There are people waiting to be served down here. What the duck? At this point she's reached the top of the stairs and is now looking around my room, realizing the only person she was yelling to was my fish, who I'm sure wasn't in any mood to serve her anything after that. See? Get the duck out of my apartment. Angry, tired and fantasizing about the burger on the plate in my hand. Well, it doesn't change the fact that I've been waiting ages for my food and that's unacceptable. Clearly, looks at my plate. You know the owners, so I think you should still talk to them for me. What the duck? Get out. I'm out of patience at this point, and begin to walk towards her and try to usher her back down the stairs. Don't touch me. If you don't care I'll find someone who does. She ran back down the stairs and slammed the door on the way out, however not before kicking a pair of my shoes into the street, which I then had to go out and collect. I saw the owner today when I gave the plate back, and he said the lady had come back down and caused a scene in the bar. Eventually the bouncer removed her. I couldn't believe she still tried to act like she was right, even after she realized she was standing in my apartment, not a restaurant. The next story is titled Apparently I'm a Doctor. Hi. I'm new here and this is a long story, but hey. So, let's say my name is John Doe. I often get phone calls that go like, hey, John? I reply something sensible, and they go, listen, I have such and such issue with a patient. It's always annoying calls about medical events or colleagues. Bear in mind I'm an engineer. So, this idiot Dr. John Poe has a name that's almost identical to mine and decided whenever someone annoyed him, he gives him the same wrong number, my number. And every other call I get is a I don't work here scenario, adding SMS and WhatsApp. I got fed up, found his number, and tried contacting him to no avail. I sent him a message with a lawyer who contacted me and knew him personally, and a girl he was dating, to no avail. So, I figured I would have some fun. I know for a fact he sees face to face some of these people, so I started interrupting them as they began asking, once I knew they were not patients, and hanging up. I said stuff like sorry, can't talk, I just found out I'm getting a divorce. Some of the excuses I used are got herpes, I'm in jail. Silly harmless stuff. Then I ran out of ideas and began saying things to the effect of it's not urgent, but I really need to discuss something with you. I wasn't trying to get him into trouble or worry anyone too much but annoy him. So, one day I get a call from John. He wants me to stop, is quite mad, wants me to change numbers. That's not going to happen. That's the last time I heard of John. Kind of misses him. The next story is titled You Want an Appointment with Me? Sure. This happened a few months ago but the problem had been going on for years. Every other month, I would get a text message from someone asking for a doctor or to make an appointment. I started off immediately informing them they've got the wrong number. Hey, it happens. When it started happening more frequently, I dealt with the minor annoyance by trying to have some fun. Is Dr. Lee available? Me. There's no Dr. Lee here. Only Dr. Wong. Dr. Wong ReadingBear. It was funny until the volume of messages started increasing and I got annoyed. A quick Google search led me to the clinic's page. Their number was indeed easily mistakable for mine. Theirs ends with 013 and mine with 073. And the font used certainly made it worse. I called the clinic to inform them of this problem and that they needed to do something about it. Change the font, spell the numbers out, or even change their number. I just wanted the messages to stop. The lady just brushed me off and said there was nothing she could do. I asked to speak to someone in charge but was denied. She told me to change my number or just deal with it. So here comes the part where I dealt with it. After an odd month of peace, I received several messages over a week asking to make an appointment. Hi, I would like to make an appointment please. Me. Sure, the next available slot is next Friday at 10. Would that work for you? I made very sure never to claim that I represented the clinic. If anyone asked for a specific doctor, I would say there is no such person here, and if they did ask for the clinic I'd inform them they got the wrong number. Basically, I had myself covered and I tried to have everyone's appointment at the same time. When Friday came around, I received several angry replies from those people and a call from the clinic. Messages went generally like this. You're a terrible person. Why would you do this to waste my time? Why did you pretend to be the clinic? Me. I'm sorry ma'am but I run a PC repair service. Except I don't take appointments via SMS nor is my personal number listed. I was expecting you at 10 but you didn't show. If you looked at your message you never asked if I was the clinic and I never claimed to be. And the call went like this. CL. Clinic lady. CL. Hi, who is this? Why did you pretend to be us and arranged for all these appointments? Me. I called you months ago letting you know about this but you told me to deal with it. So I set appointments up for them to see me. It's not my fault they showed up at your door. Maybe you should change your phone number. I hang up. Sure I felt a little bad I made those people travel to the clinic but I've since stopped receiving messages from random people and after checking on the clinic site, they now have an online appointment making system. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.